All right, check it out. Very exciting. We're doing the 2GB GTX 285 today. Very, very nice. They doubled the frame buffer, and that's going to give you some incredible gains in performance, especially if you're running really, really high resolutions like 2560 by 1600, where the additional frame buffer will keep the GPU fed nicely. It's going to increase your frame rate, and it's going to stop your frame rate from dropping off if you're cranking up those settings, especially in games like Crisis, especially when you turn on eye candy like anti-aliasing. Those things really kick up how much frame buffer you need to use, and they also kick up your hard drive usage sometimes as well when you're trying to buffer this massive image. So very nice card. Now looking at it, looks pretty normal on the front and on the back. It is your standard reference design. Nothing really too special on here, but everything else, you know, obviously looks really cool. No backplate, unfortunately, but it's still okay. Now, let's talk about frequencies. Reference frequencies for the GPU. So GPU is right there on the other side. It's 648 megahertz. The ALUs are at 1476 megahertz, or your shader cores, or your shader clock, whatever you want to call it. Your memory, though, is where it's a little bit different. There's an extra entire set of memory chips, and they're actually all aligned around the GPU over here. There's a bunch of memory chips. We have 2 gigabytes in total of GDDR3, and that's clocked at a 2,484 megahertz effectively, which is very, very nice. Now, obviously, PCI Express 2.0, it will work on regular PCI Express as long as it's X16 and it fits. It will actually work, and you won't lose any performance, or at least a very non-noticeable amount. This does do 2 and 3-way SLI. So right now, if you want to have the fastest computer on the market, this is what you're going to use. You're going to use a 2 gigabyte GTX 285, and you're going to run 3 of them in SLI, and perhaps a 9800 GT for dedicated physics. Now, looking over here, you got dual 6-pin PCI Express adapters, so you're going to need about 550 watts to run one of these, or you can get a little bit more if you want. If you're going to run SLI, I recommend 750, and if you're going to go for triple SLI, I recommend up to 1,000. And that's when you really need to get into those 1,000-watt power supplies. It's a 204 watt TDP, and when you overclock it, it goes a little bit higher. I'd say about 215, 210. It's not a huge difference, though, so that's really important to know. You also have your audio loop cable. That combined with the HDCP support and the HDMI support, and this audio loop cable right here. This is going to plug into your SPDIF header and then plug into here, and that's going to give you 7.1 channels of audio out through the HDMI, which is going to go through the DVI and into your dongle, and it's going to go 8 channels of audio, 7.1 surround sound, to your TV or your surround sound receiver through one cable, which is extremely convenient, I might add. Now, also on top of that, you do have the 7-pin S video right there, and of course these 2 dual link DVIs, and these are DVI eyes, just so you know. They do both analog and digital, and they're dual link. You can tell that it has all the holes open. That's why you know it's dual link. And as most high-end video cards, obviously, going to be now. If you want to use 2560 by 1600 or 1920 by 1200 with either 3D or even by itself, if it's just 2560 by 1600, you have to use a dual-link cable, okay? It's not an option. You won't be able to do it with a regular DVI cable, so make sure you get one. If you're going to use a 30-inch monitor, it's important. Now, these are powered by dual 400 megahertz RAM DACs. They'll do 2560 by 1600 at 60 hertz with both on, or it'll do 2048 by 1536 at 85 hertz. If you want to do a single one, you can go up to 240 hertz at 2560 by 1600. Now, everything else is about the same. DirectX 10, shader model 4.0, OpenGL 2.1, CUDA, physics, GeForce 3D Vision certified ready, which is really cool. If you haven't checked that out yet, you definitely should. In the box, you have 1, make that 2 Molex to 6-pin PCI Express connectors for your power in case you have an old power supply. I wouldn't use these long term if I were you. PCI, this is VGA actually to DVI dongle. So if you're using an older monitor, you can definitely use these. They are handy to have. The HDMI one that I already mentioned is going to do a lot for you if you have a big TV. Very cool to hook up your computer to your TV, especially your desktop for gaming. Very fun. The audio loop cable that we already talked about, a quick start guide, a driver disk, which wouldn't use it. Go online, download the latest ones because you get huge performance gains. Every time they have a driver update, you get like a big gain in performance, and it's so worth it. It's free money. It's free performance. You don't have to pay any for it. Here's nice, 20% off of Mirror's Edge, which is a great game, I might add, if you've never played it. It works with physics, and it's actually a really fun game to play. It didn't get a lot of credit, but I think it's pretty fun. I don't know. And also an advertisement for the killer Xenu MPU network processing unit, which is very cool. So that is it, the 2 gigabyte version of the GTX 285. This is already the fastest single GPU card on the market. Now they doubled the frame buffer for the people that have really big monitors. You'll also get performance gains when you turn on eye candy, like anti-aliasing, which is going to make everything look a little nicer, and it's not going to slow you down. It's not going to drop your frame rate horrifically because of the large frame buffer. So really good stuff. If you have any questions on it, email me, and I'll see you guys next time. For more information on the EVGA GTX 285 with 2 gigabytes of frame buffer, type in E145-0283 into the search engine of any of these major retailers. For Computer TV, I'm Albert.